me in the world, and you guys end up hating me at the end anyway. So, somehow Rolo, Ashley, and Katie are still here, and you still here. So it's a situation, guys, where one out here. I hate when Rolo puts this on me. Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah.
And not everybody doesn't get a trophy, but like everybody does their best and they do well. If you're going to be stepping up on stage, I'm going to point out where your fat is, or going to tell you what needs to be gone, but you're also going to have it gone by the time you get on stage. Like, we'll have you ready. The biggest thing is like, you have to trust the process. So we're going to kind of go through like a few different things here, just like kind of like the order that we like to kind of explain everything. But that's the number one thing is like, really guys, this is going to be like the most rewarding but painstaking process. But it's something where you're going to find a new level of confidence, discipline, control. Man, I don't know. Do you guys have another word for it? In yourself that like, you just didn't know was there. What?
Did you say rewarding?
Yeah, like rewarding.
Yeah.
It is like, you cannot take it away from you. And it's empowerment.
Yes.
Like when I'm 90 years old and I can say I used to compete, I used to do it, like you can't take it away. The pictures you can't ever take away.
You're gonna be part of a like very small percentage, pretty much, ladies, where you're gonna pretty much lose fat and gain or maintain muscle at the same time.
Yeah, and you're like your body will change, your mind will change, and kind of all those things. So where I like to kind of leave off on like that step one of like this process.
It don't stay there.
And it doesn't stay that way.
It don't stay there.
So I don't remember what I was gonna say step one.
Sorry.
You blew me.
I'm so
You blew
sorry.
me. On camera. I love it. We can say things behind doors that are not appropriate. Damn it. Empowering. Anyway, we'll move on. So that's kind of the first thing. It's just really, it's like, it's one of those, oh, I know what I was going to say. The thing that drives me nuts, and Shelly will tell you, like, you could be at a grocery store, you could do whatever. I used to look like you. I used to live where you can live. No, you couldn't, fucker. Like Rolo said, it's 1% of the population. Like, if you stepped on stage, less than 1% of the population has looked like that. So when grandma or grandpa at the grocery store says, I used to look like you, no you didn't. And you can confidently, no they didn't, all right? So that's the last thing. Sorry, that's where I wanted to go with that before you blew me. But it's one of those things that you said with empowerment, it's like just such a thing that's just like, guys, you know that whole process you're going through it, there's an end goal. And I think where a lot of people get in like their day-to-day is there's not that goal. Work out, but you're kind of doing it to maintain what you have. You kind of go through the motions, and people get offended when I say going through the motions, but like when you turn it on to do like what we're talking about doing of like competing or even just like contest dieting, you all of a sudden know, oh, I'm doing this for a purpose. Like there is that goal. The other thing that comes about is the fear of the deadline. So the fear of the deadline is what makes the difference. So often, and Shelly will tell you this, I'm going to diet like I'm doing a show, but I'm not going to do it. And I think you even said that a couple weeks ago over there. I've heard that 2,000 times.
Yeah.
How many people have done it, Rolo? 0.7.
Big fat goose egg. Big fat goose egg.
You can't diet for a show without doing a show. There is nothing that scares the bejesus out of you than wearing dental floss and heels on stage in front of 2,000 people that you can't see. So, and so there's we've been at some shows where you can see the audience, and that's not cool. So.
They should have to wear dental floss also.
Right? Just picture
well, you're
them
supposed
in
to picture
dental
them.
floss.
Yeah. So there has never been a time in your life where you have been held to that same level of accountability. And while like it might kind of scare you, to me, that's the part of competing that I love. I like stepping on stage. There's the adrenaline. It's like amazing. We'll talk about that. But like the discipline of like work sucked, life sucks, something happened, whatever. I got to train and eat my meals still. There is some level of something in your brain that when you can accomplish that for 16, 20, 24 weeks, like it gives me chills inside to even say it. It is no one can take that power away from you. So in a year or 2 years, whatever, you have a relationship issue, you have a work issue, it's nothing. You can handle that and still get your workout. So you can handle something and still keep going. So that's kind of the second part for me is like, it is a situation to where the discipline is the coolest thing in the world. The third spot I want to go is, then it becomes where, shall I say, the selfishness. The third part is your family life is going to get affected. So the biggest thing, whether you plan on actually competing after this or you just go home and talk about it, the first thing that you really need to talk about is the reality of it. It's not, well, I'll only be gone an extra hour or two a week, honey. No, you're going to be gone every day, whether it's here or whether it's going to run your neighborhood or doing something, but like it's every day. So like the biggest thing that can't be minimized is like food still has to be cooked, laundry still has to be done, work still has to be done, you still have to have a social life, kids have to go to soccer, life still has to go on, but yet you still have to add in training and nutrition into your life. So balancing becomes like crazy difficult. So the third component is like you really need to talk to your family and just really be honest with just the fact of like, hey, I'm going to work out every day. It could be around a schedule that doesn't even impact the other person in your house, but they at least need to know like what you're going to be going through and what to expect. Because say for instance you do miss a morning workout and it normally doesn't affect their life and you miss it, they won't understand why you have to go at night. Because to them it doesn't matter, but to you, you know that like this still shakes when it's not supposed to shake or whatever it is that is happening. So that's kind of the third component, is like really being honest with family, friends, spouse, kind of all that stuff. Fourth part I want to get into is then the temptations, and then kind of we'll get into the fun of competing. The temptations.
I swear there is some fun to it, like sprinkled.
Guys, the whole thing is the most fun you'll ever do until you look back and you're like, what did I just put myself through? And then other people are the opposite. They'll dread the whole thing, and at the end they're like, I wish I would have enjoyed the process more. So you have two different people who approach it, I think, two different ways. I felt like the last go around, everybody went the opposite way, where they hated the whole process. They probably look back and they're like, that was the best shape of my life, you know? But I think in previous years, we had too many people compete at once. There's too many emotions. So that's why I said I hope half of you guys don't compete. Interesting. So, but the whole idea is like, it really is like, you want to enjoy it as much as you can, because yeah, it is that silver line at the end. Like you're going to realize like how much you put into it, whatever. So the fourth part I said I want to get into is like the sacrifices. So like your friends and your family, especially when it comes to work, they're going to say, oh, well, you look great. You're already lean. You can have this. You can't. You really can't. Because like, while you might look good for that, none of us, well, Rolo has, I guess, once. None of us have ever placed first overall in a contest, which means none of us have ever been lean enough, and I've been really freaking lean before, and it's still not enough. We've all been. Like, Sean, it was amazing. You guys probably saw the pictures today. The critique from the judges, you need to be leaner. Critique from the judges, you need to be leaner. Probably the same thing. Critique from the judges, you need to be leaner.
You need to get bigger.
You need to get bigger. You need to get bigger. It's, everything you don't want to hear is what they tell you, you know? And it's, so it's, it might seem like it's just a slice of pizza, or it's just a little bit of breading on chicken, or it's just a little whatever. You got to realize it is going to be a very short window of time in your year and in your life. You just say no to it. It really is. And they're not going to understand.
No.
They're not at all. They're going to invite you to things. They're going to know you can't do it, and they're going to intentionally invite you to things. It's a part of it. And how I said the discipline of like the second part, step 2, whatever, the discipline, to me it's almost just as exciting to go to those places and not give in the temptation. It's like, oh yeah, I did it. And it's like when you say fun things, you have to find the fun in this process, guys. But it is. It's like, yeah, those suckers can't beat me.
I think he's
It's like,
lying when he
yeah.
says fun, though.
It's
In
not.
all honesty,
Yeah.
it's, at least for me, it
We
is
have different
extremely
and we handle things completely,
emotional.
yeah. Yeah.
I was scared shitless to get on. The training was the easy part. Getting on stage to me scared the living
Yeah.
shit out of me. Like, I was like, nope. I could train all day. I could eat, whatever. But the stage thing, looking back, yes, I wish I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But it is. It's such an emotional journey. I mean, to this day, I can hear certain songs that I would be on a stepper for 40, 50, 60 minutes, and it brings tears to my eyes because I remember where I was, what I was doing, how hard I was pushing. Still not enough, as it turns out to be. So it can. Oh yeah, literally can tear up hearing that anytime. But I think the biggest thing though is that you're doing something. You're pushing your body. You're pushing yourself mentally to a spot that I think most people never get to that point. And when it's all said and done, it's like, holy shit, we're the 1% that are willing to do that to our body, not to our bodies, but to
for our bodies. Yeah.
For our bodies.
Yeah.
And when the window of staying that way is such a narrow window.
Very narrow.
So narrow.
10 minutes after you off stage.
I mean, literally within hours of getting off stage, you can gain anywhere from 6 to 15 pounds. I mean, the turnaround is so quick.
Yes.
So,
I after my show, I usually gain around 10 pounds.
well, Earl,
Like
you're a
that.
bad,
Yeah,
you're a bad example.
you're bad influence. So we always like to start these meetings with scaring the shit out of you because it's really everybody wants to make it sound so great. And if you go to any other like contest, like, oh, we're having a contest, it's the best thing you'll ever do. It's gonna be awesome, and they're gonna try and take a bunch of money from you, and you're gonna be really disappointed. Like we're kind of the opposite way. Like you make us look good. I mean, it's not kind of in that situation, but like it's also I would rather get this part out of the way and like the bad part
And have no surprises.
Yeah, and have no surprises. It really is like kind of good. I want to make sure, and that's why I have to make sure that Rolo and Ashley and Katie are also in the room. Do you guys have any more of like the negative components of those first four things of like just the discipline, the commitment, the family, and the coworkers?
Just that if they are competing, like it's now becoming summer, so like if you have to sweat, like you're gonna be in a sweatshirt, you're gonna be in a long sleeve, you're gonna be in like you're not gonna be wearing a tank top. Like I don't care how hot you are, like you are gonna feel like overheating, and there are gonna be days where you're like, oh my god, I want to do it. Like I can try and get away with one day, but like you can't because like Derek says, these people have been doing this. This is what they do for their whole life, and that's what you're getting on stage in it. Now, mind you might get on stage with somebody who's never done it either before, but then you're right next to them will be somebody who's done it and who doesn't stop doing it. So like there's all different ages, all different like abilities, and like it is gonna be hot and it's gonna be miserable. But like at the end, it is. I found it really
Silver lining from this guy, because I'm always the glass half full.
Sure.
The coolest thing is like I always competed the first like 4 years in April, and it's the worst because you're guided through all the holidays, and like Shelly did her first show through that. That was yours too, huh? Yeah. Doing the late fall shows, you're lean during summer. It's the greatest freaking thing ever. You might as well take it. And it's so much easier because you can sweat during your workouts. Where like the winter, it's so hard to sweat sometimes.
And then you're not dieting during the holidays.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's literally my comment.
I just wanted to say too, eventually, I mean, the suckness really subsides because, I mean, to a certain point, you are so autopilot with your life that I could tell you at any point how many ounces of water, how many protein, fats, carbs, and as far as family get together, like you're so in the zone, like it takes like a month or two, it doesn't even matter. Now at the end, I would sit and look at like pizza, takeout menu, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just planning my meals for afterwards. Like literally sit there for hours.
You have like a menu in front of you.
Oh my god, like every day it was like porn to me. It was like, yes! But it was. But at the same time, I could go anywhere, have family, and nope, there was no deviation. So it really, I mean, it's a little struggle at first, but I think once you get on that tree, just like with working out and it becoming a habit and it not feeling normal if you don't show up, it's kind of the same thing with dieting. You just get into a new routine, a new normal, I guess.
And that's a good point too, is like the first like month or two, it's like, you're not like, okay, why am I doing this? Like nothing's changing, nothing's like, why am I doing this? And then like, eventually, like you said, you might not see results for 2 months, 3 months, but like, you can't just stop and be like, I'm not good enough. Like, I can't stop. Like, you have to keep going. And then, I mean, Derek will never let you get on stage if you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Guys, we practice. Yeah, actually, if you have scary stories, you guys tell it, and we'll go into the positive stuff. But you
I think that
you handled yours really well. But she went through moving. You went through. You had
New
a lot.
relationship.
You had a
Started
lot of
dating
changes at
Brian.
the same time.
yeah, I bought a house, started dating my boyfriend. We're still together, so
Hey,
through
so
that
she
whole
got
thing,
up.
I knew it was gonna
There you
last.
go.
I was psycho.
We started dating during contest prep. I was dieting. It's a great way to start a relationship.
I had so much. My grandma passed away, so
That's
I had so much.
That's right. You flew away to a funeral. Didn't you also fly for a wedding or something too? But still,
shit was it.
I
Shit
had
was
so
happening.
much crazy stuff happen. But I think that what upset me the most was the comments made. Like, you don't eat anything. Well, no, I do. It's all right here in my awesome lunchbox. But it's not, like when I go out to lunch with you, I'm not eating because it's prepped. Or like, your arms are so big. Your arms are, like, you can beat up all the new members that we're hiring because your arms are huge. And I'm like, okay, well, I lift 6 days a week. Like, what do you expect? Like, there's just comments. And it's like, shut up. I'm doing something, you know, and
She just had that today.
I was just talking with Derek today about the fact that I have family members who, I used to be this size. I wasn't as muscular as I am now because I wasn't working out. I was just naturally a small person. And then over the last 13 years, I incrementally gained 70 pounds. So people are used to seeing me big. And so I have family members now, they're like, you need to stop losing weight. You're starting to not look well. I don't want people to be like, ooh, does Ron have cancer? Like, what's going on? And I'm getting back to where I used to be. but I'm getting back to where I used to be without the fat. So it's more muscle now because I'm working out and doing what I'm supposed to do.
And the guy said
And
your
the
arms
guys-
look really good.
And I was wearing a sleeveless dress at work yesterday. And one of the guys who just retired came in and he's like, "Wow, your arms are looking really muscular." And I was like, "Well, I don't carry guns, so I gotta have guns." Because I work at the sheriff's office, so they all have guns.
And then a
So I was
lady
like,
said,
and then one of the ladies said, she saw me coming down the hallway today, and I had on clothes that are probably too big because I haven't bought all the clothes. And she's like, "You need to stop losing weight. You shouldn't lose any more weight. You're getting small enough, And it's all a matter of their perspective.
Yeah.
My family, they love me and they care about me, but they also haven't seen me look like this in almost 20 years. So to them it's
It's
weird.
new, yeah, it's
So
new.
to them it's new.
Well, I
So
literally
it's like,
had
holy
like the
crap, I
cashier
finally got
at
myself
CVS
back.
say, like I was buying gum and she's like, "Oh, your arms are so big." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Like, you're
so
saying,
and what's
I work
weird
on
is
that.
because like where now maybe you're, and I don't know where each person stands, like your self-confidence might be, whatever. When you're getting into that spot too, because you're working so hard and your whole life is that you're kind of dedicating it to one thing. Like one little comment here and there, almost like just replay in your head.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't hurt. It's just like are my arms too big? Are my arms too big? Are my arms too big? Are my arms too big?
And then
Maybe
you
I did this
focus
wrong.
on
Maybe
your
I did this
arms
wrong.
forever. Yeah.
But it's like a loop, and so it's because you're so, people always say, "I'm so sorry for crying." I'm like, you don't cry about things you don't care about. Like that's a great thing. But same thing, you're so passionate about this that sometimes you'll obsess about like the dumbest things. Like we made a diet change in Shelly's final 2-3 days of her
Trying
contest.
to give me a
Pop-Tart,
Pop-Tart, and I
like for-
freaked the fuck
She sure
out.
did.
I was like, and
I wrote like this
threw
most
it at
beautiful
him.
love note. You've
Oh.
done this and this. Your numbers have factored into this. Here you can have this. And I mean, it was just, and I came home to like a meltdown, and it was just like,
Oh my!
what
I was like,
happened?
do you realize how many cups of rice I could have for this or rice cake?
I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that
So
was.
we were trying to be nice, and she freaked out.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was definitely probably of all the years that was probably running a business doesn't test a relationship. Competing did. It
Yeah.
really like that. At least for me,
That's true.
I was a little cray cray.
And but the
at first.
difference from first show to second show.
Yeah,
is a
it
whole
was
different
night and
vibe.
day.
Never
But-
gone through that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The only other last scary thing would be if you guys finally do decide to compete is trying on your suit for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
That is like
Terrifying.
you put that on and you're like nothing's covered, like there's no way, like and then you can point, then like when you lose weight, like your body fat like might move down, like mine started, actually mine stayed here, but like mine started going to my back a little more, and then I was like, what the hell, I never had that, and then like my legs look up, and then I'm like, all of a sudden I have like fat right here, and it's like, it's weird how like you might lose weight here, and then all of a sudden might gain it here, and it's like, so like you
Your
just have
bumps
to
and
be,
bumps
yeah.
move.
Yeah, your first suit is.
Yeah, you put this on and you're like,
worst.
and then you're like, there's no way, man. And then you're like, my fat ass. You
You
can
try
be
on,
like
like, 2
so
months
little,
out,
and you're like,
right?
my
Yeah.
fat ass ain't
Yeah.
fitting in this. Like, yeah.
But they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we'll make it
Well,
smaller."
it's
And you're like, "I'm about to bust it right now. We're not making it
Yeah, and then that's true. Is like
Yeah.
you'll walk out and like whoever the student person, like they know what they're doing, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll just take a little down right here. But take it down, there's nothing there, and like it's true. They're like, okay, we'll lift the butt a little bit. So
They
like
gotta add
that's the
something
only
like
other
that.
scary thing is like.
Add something like that.
Add material.
How'd your pink feel?
Yeah, what's
felt great.
I've seen your pictures, and you guys look awesome.
so you have a scary
But like,
story
honestly,
about?
the best thing
Scary,
you can
not
do
so
though-
much scary story, but like for me, I want to say the first year I competed was probably the roughest because I had no support whatsoever.
That's
from
right,
Friends
yeah.
or family. Like
That's a
I
good
was
one,
on my own for that one. Like my family understood it from a cultural background because if you're Italian or if you come from a Spanish family, everything revolves around food. So for me, it was like I had no support. My parents didn't understand it. My brothers, they didn't understand it too much. Everybody thought I was sick. I was getting cancer or something. But yeah, it sucked. That first year sucked so bad because the only support I had was pretty much here at Lift Fit. So, but after the next year after I competed, my family noticed that it's something that I really want to do. So it got to the point where my mom started helping me like prep chicken and stuff like that because she realized that it's not just a fad or something. It's like it's something I really am dedicated to. So, and then last year was the first time my family ever went to a show. They met my family
Like the
for
whole
the first time.
family.
Yeah. So it was nice. I had the whole family there.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing you can do is take photos your first time getting at like every fitting you have for your suit. Take a photo. 'Cause Shelly came with me the first time, And she's like, I'm gonna take a picture. And I was like, please, Jill, this is embarrassing. But then you could see later on, like, the
Definitely
progression.
the photos was like a lifesaver for me because
Because we're like so
I was gonna
pale
say,
and we're
it's
so like fat and you're just like,
That's the thing too. And then I'm like, and then I picture, I'm like, wait, because I always say like, fat looks better tan. Like, will I look better tan? And I'm like, hell no, I will look better tan. Like, after that a lot. But it's, yeah, it's definitely.
It's a tan lump of
Oh my god, it's white as the wall. Oh my god.
It's so, like, I love getting those out. Like, it's kind of fun. I mean, we can, and for those of you who continue on with this, we'll have multiple meetings. We try and do this regularly. That way, that we're all together kind of throughout the process. But, like, Rose, he shoot the whole day of the show. He's overdrank.
I literally went on stage, did my posing. As soon as the judge is like, all right, gentlemen, off the stage, I literally ran back, went to the bathroom, bark.
He was great. Like,
Like,
it was
the
like,
night before, you're typically allowed 8 ounces.
of wine.
Yeah, I drank the whole bottle.
He
of
drank the
wine.
whole bottle.
Is that what we all do, Keegan?
He's like dehydrated at this point.
Sarah spilled wine on the couch.
Oh my
That
goodness,
was a
we were a mess.
messy.
So that part
messy
is the
night.
cool part of it. Because it's like, since you kind of all do it together, it's like, I can't say
build
through
a
the whole
camaraderie.
process, yeah, everybody will love each other through it. Because again, oh my god, Leanne got leaner than I did this, and Annette's got better arms than me, and this. You guys will just find your own things, and it kind of does
kind of
happen.
don't do that though. Like Silly and I were just like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up?
No, it is. I can see both sides. It's
Yeah.
very nice. Like I could, like with the last group that we had, it was nice to have people that we competed, but there were also people in that group that were very competitive with each other. Like, oh, why are you on this and why are you
I
on
think
that?
she
And
and
why
I
am I not on this? And why am I not on that? Because everybody's
Yeah.
like,
against
Hey,
like if
remember,
me and you were competing.
everybody's different.
Yeah, if me and you were competing, we might be on totally 2 different plans because we're doing 2 different, like, we're focusing on 2 different things, and that's what, like, you guys need to understand too, is that, like, just because if it is a group, not everybody in that group is doing the exact same thing. They have something else that they need to work on, body part, diet, cardio, not cardio, water, not water, so.
the water to play
Maybe
with.
like for instance, Melissa, you have less carbs than Ashley. Ashley has maybe a little bit more fats than
And then you have,
Leanne.
why does she have more
Yeah,
carbs
you'll
than
get,
me?
you'll get mad at me because
Yeah.
she gets more carbs. Like, that's okay. But like, I can handle it.
Yeah.
I know, like Celia got to eat a
It
cheeseburger.
really
and I was
is,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Like, I'm eating a cheeseburger. And she's like gray and trying to eat this cheeseburger, and you're like, she needs food, she's gonna die. And I was like, I want a cheeseburger. I'm dying.
Or in my case, you get 5-pound salads for like the last 5 weeks.
gosh.
So it's
She can get 5-pound salads.
So like what she was getting into though, so it's like, the process of it, and everybody's kind of got a different journey, but especially when you get into like, because we'll normally start posing in about 12 weeks out. We'll pose like once every other week for like the first like 2-3 weeks. First time is,
your back or
yeah, probably should. First time is in full clothes, second time is in like gym clothes, next time is in like clothes and a sports bra, then we go to shorts and a sports bra, and then it gets to the bathing suit and stuff. So you guys feel more comfortable with each other, you guys feel more comfortable with the situation. Then these doors are completely closed down, or we go to Choice Fitness and use like their mirrored room. But it really gets in a situation where then you guys start, I know you didn't get dog treatment. So,
I didn't either.
I was right
you guys
there.
were at the very
No,
beginning.
one of the first
Right
posing
here.
We can stop
sessions was after
sidebarring.
a muscle retreat.
I love
There
how
was
I didn't start on
seriously,
time and she's like, Derek, and like, stop it. All right. So the whole idea is like, we will take you through posing, so you guys will have those experiences together, and that's where the camaraderie comes in. The night of like the show and stuff, it's like, we can tell you about almost every night of a show. Because it's like, yeah, like Sarah spilling wine, Rolo getting drunk too much, this,
Wine
somebody,
that never tasted.
somebody's
so
tan
good.
didn't stick on their front side and it did on their back side. So, I mean, somebody forgot sheets. Because I mean, all these things we have in here. We'll go through some of this stuff today, but there's so many things, and it's like it becomes comical and it becomes like great memories too. So it's really something. It's like you come here every single day to work out, or you come 4 or 5 days a week. Really, it's like, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it just to be healthier, which is awesome? Like that is the goal. That's why it's called Live Fit. But if you need that like new goal, if you need that new like carrot to chase, like competing is kind of that next step, and it's like that beautiful kind of long distance challenge, but it's still close enough that you can stay focused on it for like that nice 3 to 6 month window and really see beneficial results, where most things you have to take years to see and all that stuff. So the competitive part, the camaraderie part, the kind of all the different stories they've said, it's like, it's a part of it. You're all gonna have kind of your different bumps, you're all gonna have your different like successes. Somebody's gonna get leaner in one spot than another. There's all gonna be these different things, but again, at the end of the day, it's that one thing that you kind of can't take away from it. I'd like to cover this, and then any questions you guys have, and we'll kind of get from that. Yeah, so the competitor, we put the checklist here. You need to focus on 4 things. and that's it. Your water, your eating, your weight training, your cardio. That is your focus. Like, that is your life, that is your focus. Derek will have a plan written for you that you know what you need to do for those 4 things, and that's it. Somebody might be cellophaning their belly, it doesn't mean you do it. Somebody else might be drinking salt water, doesn't mean you do it. Somebody, like, you worry about those 4 things, and that's it, okay? If somebody's taking some magic fruit vitamin only found in the rainforest, it doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna take these things, and that's gonna do it, all right? The next part is in the hearts. That's like the money towards like live fit stuff. This is the money towards competing. We put a little bikini lady, we put like live fit hearts. So like you're posing, we do $25 a session. It ends up being an hour, sometimes 90 minutes. I like to get everybody quick and through. But the one thing with posing is this. You can be in the best shape of your life, and when you're on stage, it's obvious who practiced and who didn't. Because you're up there for such a... So you're on stage, and it could be anywhere from 30 seconds in a pose to like 6 minutes in a pose. And you have to be...
Long time, ladies.
There's
Like,
literally
your
a picture
jaw
of me,
will
and
hurt.
my eyes are looking at Rich, and I was just like, because I had 142 bikini people,
There
and
could be
I'm
30
just
people in your
standing
category.
there, and I
Yeah.
literally am looking at him like, I'm gonna fucking
So
kill
that
you.
might be a benefit to being old and doing this. There won't be as many people.
You're kind of right. You're kind of right. So the thing with this though is like, we always have the most prepared posers, competitors on stage. I mean, it is not, they go out there, they hit their spots, they know their poses, they're not shaking up there because they can't hold, their bellies aren't popping out because they can't hold in their stomach. Like, we have you nailed in. So when we do an actual posing practice, they can all validate. You do 2 or 3 shows every single posing practice. Like what you'll do on stage, the whole 2-3 minutes total that you'll be doing your stuff, we do that over and over
And
drill
videotape
drill.
yourself when you
And
practice on your own.
yeah, we video you so that when I'm talking my critiques on video, it's then loaded into Google Drive that only each person has access to their own. You go home and you watch it over and over again. We give you a link to get a tripod like what we use at boot camp. You video yourself. You put it up there. All right, here's his critiques. Here's what we did. Hey, Derek, I'm not sure. Am I doing this turn right? Boom. We go and we look at it. But that feedback and the posing is like, it's the icing on the cake. You know, it's like the most important thing. The measurements, this is something probably only like the couple people who competed maybe I've had. We do not that, and we don't do a 3-point test. We actually do a 9-point caliper test. Unfortunately, a 9-point caliper test tests where you don't want to test. It tests your low back, it tests your back fat, it tests your calf fat, it tests your pec fat.
Upper
It definitely
and
does your-
lower.
Yeah,
and
lower
chin.
back, whatever. It's 9
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah, your thigh.
Your favorite
So-
part of my body.
That is a true, like, it will find the fat. So where some people, like, if you can get away with a 3-point because they're all like your lean spots, like, it will find the fat. Most people, it's their calves that it's like, oh, that's where it was. Inner thighs, outer thighs. So on a 9-point test, it's way more elaborate, but that is also where we get your lean body mass, and that's where your diet adjustments are done every single month. So basically what you're looking at is if you make every posing practice about $100 for your posing and $50 once a month to make your critiques and your changes on your diet. We've done packages and stuff, and it really just depends on how many people are going to compete. So we'll have something on that down the line. Personal training, if you're lifting weights and you have a gym membership and you can follow a program, I'll give you a sheet of paper to go follow, and you can do all this stuff on your own. Then you come into a PT session, you're like, oh shit, they kicked my ass. And you're like, oh, okay, well maybe I need to be pushed a little more with some stuff. So there is a benefit, obviously, to working with the trainer, but like the biggest thing is you need muscle. Like when you strip everything away and you lose 20 pounds from where you are right now or whatever the weight is there going to be anything left? So that's the whole idea, is like there still has to be the shape.
Yeah, because boot camp is not going to do it.
Yeah,
Weight
boot camp's
lifting is
not.
not going to do it, ladies. You have to lift.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just,
Fill
yeah.
out the muscles.
dedicated, yeah, you're filling out skin, like you're
Pretty
filling out
much,
the
yeah.
muscle. It's a perfect way to say it. Like your boot camp will handle your cardio component, it does not handle your weightlifting component. Like
And
you got
not extra, I mean, generally.
yeah, and
you
not
do
extra cardio. Most
cardio
people
on top
will
of
do
that,
extra.
too.
Yeah, so the whole idea is like when you have 18 to 28% body fat, your muscles and your fat make your curves, and that's where we call nerves. But when you get leaner and you don't have that fat, there's no curves. So like what happens, and Rhonda and I just talked about this today, your first, as you lose fat in your very first wave, it's going to come from your butt, your boobs, your cheeks, like basically everything that's genetically makes you, your clavicles. Shelly gets super lean clavicles, they look awesome. But what happens is, and this is where I told Rhonda, that's why we want people to be in shape 8 to 10 weeks out from a contest, because you start filling in your skin, you start filling back in your cheeks and your butt and your boobs and all the other stuff. But unfortunately, most people, and I'll call you, I call me, whatever, but like we're not ready till that second we get on stage. So when you do that, you're gonna have a little bit looser skin. Things won't be as tight. Things won't be as filled out and stuff. So the goal is we get you in shape as quick as possible, and the longer you can stay at that weight and that body fat, you just look better, more toned. Everything looks a lot better with it. But that's where that muscle needs to be developed underneath it. Last thing, trainer attending show. If you guys are doing like a local show or you're doing Tampa or Lakeland, we'll go. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff in that sense. But like if you're doing like Daytona is one of the shows they're considering, like we're driving 3 hours back and forth, like we're going to hotel rooms to check on people, we're doing meetings at the hotel lobby, like it's something we have not charged in the past, and it's a stupid thing because we end up
There's been a lot of money spent.
we put a lot into you guys. So in that sense, yeah, if our ticket cost basically is what we get covered in that sense. Other stuff here, the cool part about everything here is if you factor everything, and I just threw a rough estimate today when it was a Bucky. We're talking, figure everything is going to cost around $1,000. Whether that's the actual case, it could be. Yeah, Katie's saying higher. We've had some people.
I always
I think I was
assume it's going to be
I budgeted about 1,000 last year and I paid about 900. So I mean, so you just gotta be careful, like
Borrow things,
but I-
borrow jewelry from us, borrow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, ask us.
So the cool thing about this, if you actually start looking, so like the NPC card, you have to have a card to actually compete in the division, the National Physique Committee, NPC. That, you have 26 weeks, so you can put away $1 a week for that. Your contest entry, your posing suit, basically everything. If you really start factoring, if you put away between like $40, $50 a week, you'll have all your stuff covered. Plus those extra couple weeks, you'll have even more of a cushion put aside. It doesn't all hit you at once unless you make it hit you all at once.
Well, and I was gonna say to start chipping away, like I forced myself and I bought an NPC card. I was like, that was like the first thing.
That's the best way to commit.
Because I had to commit, and the way they're not. It's only good for a calendar year.
Yeah.
So it's not for a full year, the calendar year. So I
For
bought
2000.
that. Yeah, and I would chip away. Like I bought my NPC card and my shoes. Very first thing, because the more you can walk in your shoes, get
Yeah.
comfortable in your shoes, because they hurt like hell, and the more comfortable and sass you can get off the bat, regardless of your training, your diet, or eating, the better. So those.
My girl got some sass and she had no sass. But she wore heels all around the house. I mean, it really comes to that, especially if you're not used to it.
You're
Most people are not
probably
used to.
Huh?
Oh, every husband does. They hate the process and they love the process.
But they're platform too, they're not like.
No,
your
yeah, they're like
regular
5
high
inch,
heels.
like,
You have
you
a
need
platform.
clear, they're
Literally
clear.
yeah.
NPC requires, I believe it's a 3-inch.
3 inch,
Minimum,
yeah.
Yeah, minimum. And really, you can see women who try to cheat the system and go shorter, and it does not look aesthetically right. Like, believe it or not, they're really the higher
Your legs
heel.
completely change the higher you go.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of this stuff, like she
You
said, I
can
mean,
chip
so,
away.
yeah, it might be $50 this week for your shoes, and then you might save $50 the next 2 weeks to do your NPC card. You
Amazon
might
has them.
book your posing.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
Amazon
kind of
for it.
all those different things is really stuff that like you can chip away. Like gas, obviously you're gonna spend gas anyway, but we put it on here because some people, we've had competitors, oh, I can't even afford to get there, or we've had somebody, I don't have any food prepped for, and it's like, you dieted for 16 weeks, you have 2 days left, you don't have food, like, what are you doing? Oh, I got a friend going to go cook me some food. Oh, what? Like,
Am I right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you
who it is? Oh, yeah, you know who it is. I mean, we've had everything. People without tanning appointments, people without whatever. It's like, guys, we're telling you 6 months and 2 weeks ahead of time before any show is happening, like what the possibilities are. So I think really the key thing with this is like these expenses, all these different things. We have so many cool stories to tell you. We have so much more stuff to kind of educate you on, but we don't need to get into that today. So what I was gonna say is take this home, think about it. I would do step 3, talk to your family of like, is this something that's really something doable? And then we'll meet again in like 2 or 3 weeks and see who's like actually interested. With this, 6 months is going to be a great timeline, no matter who's in this room, I think, to get in shape. I think everybody's in a clear spot that they could be, absolutely everybody in this room could be in winnable shape depending on who else shows up in 6 months.
all who shows up. Also, we put the website, the
That's
NPC website, that you can get your NPC card, but the biggest thing, it has the schedule, the calendar. So it has all the show dates, where they're at. I believe too, then you can click on and see, because each show may be like a different entry cost. When we competed, they used to be like
$40,
40 to
$30.
50, sometimes 70. Now it looks like 70 to 100, and that's for each category. Some shows will give you a discount if you do multiple.
My first NPC card was at $60 or something like 10 years ago, and it's 125 now. You looked up today.
And
These are all real numbers as
Yeah.
of today. Like Ashley went through and
Yeah.
made sure they were all updated.
And I
stuff
will
this
say
year.
for ladies that are all planning to do bikini, I was talking to you about this, Jackie, and you mentioned about the 400 women, do your age group. Because if you do open, you are up against 18-year-old girls, and there's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
And it's silicone central, and I mean, you can spend your money on that, but I would say for your,
Very age group.
your first
I did
show.
height and age because I'm tall, so I knew I would have.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
literally the only one in here that's.
Oh, Leanne might be tall. Are you over 5'7"?
No, 5'6".
No,
So
that's
you're
great.
So you're
Yeah.
literally the only one.
Yeah.
So that is just
Disregard.
something to consider too when you're looking at the shows and see if they have like an over 30 category, over 40. Open is where you're going to be judged all
With the
ages.
18-year-old.
Yeah, you're just cut
What's the
or
date?
separated by your cut.
September
But it's just
28th is
something to
Daytona.
consider.
Guys, if you want to write this, September 28th is Daytona. And I would just plan on doing the ones that Rolo and Ashley are planning on doing, and Kelly. September 28th?
Yeah, September 9th, Daytona, and then
And that's a good show too.
And
I've
then,
done
and
that
then 2
twice,
weeks after
it's
that's like October 10, a couple, like 2 or 3 weeks, like
It's 3
October
weeks later.
10, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's kind of perfect too. You know?
Yeah, it's,
October 10th is where?
it won't be the 10th. It's most likely going to be the 17th.
Maybe it's like a
Ocala?
seven,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Ocala.
I just know Daytona's 100. I gotta make sure I'm good for the first show before I even do a second show. Like, it's a great day in the neighborhood.
Are you looking up the NPC or what are you
I already got it.
Oh.
September 28th.
But ladies, ladies with families, kids, soccer schedules, whatever schedules, football schedules, yeah, listen. Just go talk to your husband.
Yeah.
Talk to the bill. Be like, hey, what do you think? Is there a way we can rally up the troops and be like,
Yeah,
can
I
we
just wanted to
divide and
cover your
conquer?
probably.
I guess if you guys have any questions.
Ladies, any questions at all?
Yeah, I have a question. Of course. How many days or how many training sessions do you require a day? Is it like
A day?
2
Oh, a
or
day.
just one
You work out
day?
enough. You just need that in the weights. You're already doing enough. Most of you guys already do enough. You need to add like post-workout cardio.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
It's
that you
usually
didn't
like
want,
one
2
cardio
times 2
session
days.
and then your like boot camp and lifting session.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna do your, I did cardio in the morning and then I was here for like 2 hours after work every day.
Okay.
Yeah, you did it. Now, the other part too is where you're starting from. That's
Yeah.
a big difference
Like
too. Like,
yours.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys are all starting. And
Shelly started 8 months before and never really lifted a weight before she
Okay,
competed,
okay.
like ever. She
I started at like
PT,
30% body fat, got down to 11%.
and you started PT
Wow.
and decided you're going to compete the same week. at
Yeah.
Staples.
That's
Like,
pretty
so it
much
was-
what happened to me. I showed up that same like
Yeah.
like a month later that I started here at Lift Fit, I was like already in this meeting to ready to compete. Like
Yeah, we had been running
Yeah.
boot
Why
camp
don't
I
you
think
continue
3
on?
years, so I done boot camp, but I never lifted, like PT lifted
Just for you.
formally until I competed. But I dieted from October to May.
And I would say you would
Guys,
need
the
3
second
PT
show-
sessions
Well,
a
I
week,
tried to
plus
hang
your
on
Wednesday.
for
So
the
you're at
July,
least
it was
lifting
some
Lakeland.
Lakeland show.
yeah,
Okay.
So I made it
October
to like
12th and
May.
we did 2 shows that year.
Yeah, I did April.
We did Jackson
Jackson
City,
City.
and then we did Central Florida.
Oh,
which
in
is
June. Okay, so
Yes.
no, I dieted from October to June. Trying to
Makes
keep
sense.
dieting through July, and then we went on vacation.
And that's the thing too. That's the thing too.
Done.
If you guys like, and after you talk to your family, like, definitely talk to Derek because like I would need a little more cardio, whereas like Jackie might need a little more weightlifting because we're at 2 different
Completely
spots.
Exactly.
So like we're at two different spots. So we just have to realize that you can't look at everybody and be like, oh wow, like if I looked at Leanne, I'd be like, damn, I have no back muscles.
I was gonna say,
compared
if
to
this was
Leanne.
my
I know,
starting
like,
point, oh my god.
Like you just have to realize that like